Good morning. Welcome to the fourth hour. Nice to have you along. Jim Acosta quitting CNN is just that story has just been sitting with me all day. First of all, it couldn't happen to a nicer guy, but I want you to watch a portion of this video. This is pretty crazy, and then I'll stop it. Someone comes on with their thoughts about it afterward, but finding the video unedited was pretty tough. So here it is, and of course he goes after Donald Trump, goes out in a blaze of, it's like this guy has lit himself on fire again.
One final message. Don't give in to the lies.
Yeah, don't give in.
Don't give in to the fear. Hold on to the truth and to hope. Even if you have to get out your phone, record that message. I will not give in to the lies. I will not give in to the fear.
Look at him, morose.
Post it on your social media so people can hear from you too.
CNN.
Yes, post it on your social media. Yeah. Now that's exactly what America needs, right? We need more folks who are posting that stuff on their social media. Don't give in. Don't give in. Don't relent. We can't give up. Wow. That's why I asked on social media this morning, because it occurs to me. Because what is Jim Acosta going to do next? Apparently, he's got something in the works. So he's got something in the works, and he's not, at this point, he's not saying what it is. This is what he's saying, at least publicly. Well, I've got something in the works. Can't comment on it right now. But whether he does or doesn't, I don't know. But I thought, you know what would be fun is if you get Jim Acosta along with forgive me, suddenly now his name flew right out of my mind, from MSNBC, Keith Olbermann, right? You get Jim Acosta and Keith Olbermann together, and the two of them doing a show. I mean, that would be pretty incredible. I might actually watch that. I think that would be a laugh a minute show. Can you imagine the two of them? And so I asked folks this morning on Facebook, what would you call that show? Let's take a look at some of the answers. So, and I said, here are some possibilities: the Trump derangement hour, Orange Alert, Triggered with Jim and Keith, Fact Free and Furious, MAGAphobia. So I asked listeners, what do you think? And you can see them below. Accosting the truth. I like that. That's pretty. Meltdown News or the Daily Crier. The Lemonade Stand. They can talk politics and serve lemonade. Folks came up with some great ideas. America Last with Jim and Keith. Totally understand. Dumb and Dumber. I like that, Tom. And then Steve Marino. Blame the Truth. And Princess Bride fans might get it. Great stuff. So anyway, if you share your ideas with me on Facebook, I always appreciate that. Folks come up with some pretty darn good ideas. Pretty, yeah, whiny old men, Sean says. David says, the washed ups. Love your ideas, guys. Great stuff. All right, other stories that I wanted to share with you this morning. I've got a number of them. Where do we start? Okay, let's talk about Dr. Phil and his ride along then with Tom Holman. He was out, and we talked about this a little bit yesterday. I thought that especially this was big news yesterday. I want to close some of my windows here. Here we go. But the media landscape, okay, media coverage, there are those who are seeing this as, beneficial, others, and this is hardly a surprise. You get left-leaning media outlets who are critical of it, that this is ridiculous. You got Dr. Phil there. This is absolutely ridiculous. No, I'll tell you what's been ridiculous. The last 4 years under Joe Biden, that's ridiculous. having Dr. Phil on a ride along confronting some of these people who are being, and again, cameras there showing, these are repeat offenders and what the folks are being apprehended. I think, again, you got this focus on schools, and ICE is going to be going into schools. And so that's the image that the Democrats would absolutely love for you to have in your head, is that you see ICE agents going into schools and they're dragging people out of schools. And, what's the guy from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, the creepy guy from that movie, Old Timers, you remember? Like he's going to be dragging people out of school. This is what's really going on. And so I think it's beneficial in that regard. Breitbart focused on Dr. Phil's comments about the nature of the mission of ICE, and they said Dr. Phil also said that Tom Holman had clear objectives to detain criminals and shut down the United States border, as opposed to the common misconception of sweeping neighborhoods and rounding up random Hispanics, for deportation. Again, that's not what's going on. And this is why I think having Dr. Phil there, or other media, Dr. Phil, at least is going to be honest. Whether he agrees, disagrees, generally he's going to agree. Dr. Phil tends to be, on the right side of a lot of these issues. But having him along, having the media there, having those cameras out, I think bringing the additional attention of involving Dr. Phil seems to me to be a great move. I don't know what the drawback is. The Democrats don't like it, and the Democrats are complaining. What else is new? How is that any different from any other day? I mean, as I was telling you yesterday, it's like the Democrats have got their complaints. Their volume is at 11. They're screeching about everything. It's really kind of hard to pay attention and to listen to folks, when they are just that worked up day after day, every day. It's just absolutely incredible. I thought, and again, I welcome your thoughts. Feel free to leave them in the comments below. Those of you who are watching live, I appreciate them as well. I can see those live. Someone had asked the other day, why can't I see the comments that you're sharing? That's folks who are watching live versus watching on the replay. But having Dr. Phil along, what do you think of it? I thought it made sense. Bringing attention, Dr. Phil has got a broader audience, It's appealing to folks who may not otherwise be plugged in and seeing some of these things. I think having him along made a great deal of sense. Brings additional attention to the issue, I think. So, of course, the left is whining, because the left is whining about everything these days. It just gets a little bit tiring. Speaking of whining, let's take a look at Tim Walz. He's done in an MSNBC interview. Oh boy, here we go. Tim Walz, losing the presidential election is pure hell. Pure hell. In fairness, it would be. I mean, I understand that. I absolutely understand that. You lose the election, you put your heart and soul in it. In this case, they weren't running all of that long, he and Kamala Harris, but they're working, they're working hard. They're out there. So it would be. So what else did Walz say? He was asked, what advice would he give to average people who oppose the agenda of Donald Trump? Do we really need to give advice to those people? But he says, that overused term, the frog in the boiling water? We've been in the damn pot way too long. I think it's speaking up. It's thinking about your neighbors. It's writing and putting those members of Congress. Look, there is no spine among those folks, but this is real. Actually, it's quite the contrary. There is a spine among a number of members of Congress. There is. And they're standing up and they're saying, enough, enough childishness, enough of this. We're going to move the country forward. You can go and bellyache and complain and whine all you want. We work for the American people, and we're going to continue to do so. So then he said, okay, he offered some sympathy to exhausted Democratic voters. He said to the voters, I'm with this too. Everybody's fatigued. Trust me, I get it. And I think there's a high degree of that in the country, period. Because everything is about politics. Issues that maybe ought to be issues of morality that you and I ought to be able become issues. They become political issues. So everything is about politics. And he's right. It fatigues people. So he says it was pure hell, and the disappointment and the frustration, and I'm, soul searching. What could we have done to make the case? Because we knew this was coming. We knew the implication, and they're throwing so much at us that we're fatigued, he says. And then he goes on, because he hasn't. This is the part that okay, here we go. So he said, for instance, Democrats shouldn't be debating whether Elon Musk gave the Nazi salute at that Trump inauguration rally. Of course he did, he says. But that is a distraction from what I think you said, this is game on stuff right here. And I'm worried with these federal employees because they're in a tough spot. Some of these folks, especially that are doing good work around environmental concerns, around justice for people, the ones who are not coming into the office. He said, criminal justice reform, all the things that make our society better. So and again, this, first of all, Elon Musk and that Nazi salute. So what I find so laughable is here is Tim Walz. And again, so he says, yeah, we shouldn't be talking about this. Then, why in the world are you bringing it up? Why are you bringing it up? I mean, if you don't want to talk about it, then don't. See, this is the kind of stupidity that I think Walz especially, I have no respect for Tim Walz. It's not an issue. I mean, he has not shown me yet one reason why he's deserving of respect. Just because he's governor of Minnesota. Big deal. I mean, just because you're a politician or just because whatever. I don't think that I want to treat people respectfully. That's me. But is he worthy of respect? I just don't. I just don't think so. So, yeah. Well, of course, Elon Musk gave the Nazi salute. Wow, you have got to be joking. Really, that's the message you want to leave with Americans, huh? And he's on MSNBC, and that's where you go, and you want to share that kind of lunacy. That's the place where you go to do it. Just absolutely incredible. Also, there's a story out there, and let's put Tim Walz to bed. Can we, hopefully that's the last time I feel compelled to bring him up. Certainly. And for folks, Kello has got a broad reach. We're reaching a number of folks, not only in South Dakota, but well into Iowa, Minnesota, even Nebraska. And for those folks in Minnesota, it's just like, oh man, my heart goes out to them. All right, here we go again. A Republican lawmaker introducing a bill to carve Trump into Mount Rushmore. And it's like, really? I mean, again, I get this, but it, I'm so tired of, as a South Dakotan, aren't you just tired of going down that road? Oh, wait, whose additional face can we get on Mount Rushmore? Um, really? I mean, I think, listen, I'm a fan of Donald Trump's, and I think Donald Trump has done a lot. And I think if we want to immortalize Donald Trump in some significant way, that's a different conversation. I'm totally on board with that. But can we really kind of stop these Republican lawmakers from bringing this stuff forward? Oh, it's just a ride on the crazy train every time I see that. There is no more room on the mountain for another carving. Period. There's no more room. You've been out there and you've gone through the museums. There's no more room. There is no more room on the mountain for another face. And so, and can you, it's just, I just think that's a little bit much. So, Republicans in Congress, can we stop with that? Can we get, start moving forward then with the people's work? Let's concentrate on that. And again, I'm not opposed to immortalizing Trump in some way. Sean is saying something I think really that I like. Trump's monument will be America made great again. Absolutely. And a number of you are tired of this too. Melissa is saying, leave Mount Rushmore alone. David is saying the same thing. Denise is saying the same thing. So, yeah, can we stop with that? I think Senator Thune maybe ought to get the Republicans in Congress together and say, yeah, can we stop this crap? bringing those bills forward. All right. Speaking of this is good. Now this is in a completely different vein. Okay. Because let's step out of politics for a few minutes. Super Bowl is coming up. And, a lot of folks are excited about the Super Bowl. And so here we go once again. Here's the polling. Oh, no. I know, right? Your heart's already sinking. Here's the polling. Oh, no. What are people saying? More than half of football fans wish that the Monday after the big game was a national holiday. 55%, according to new research. New research is pretty much the same as the old research that I see every year around Super Bowl time, where people are saying they wish the big game was a national holiday. And I got to say big game, right? You can't say, those two words. And I think the only issue there is if you're making money. So if you're making money off of that, you got to call it the big game. You can't call it what everybody calls it. So survey of 3,000 Americans 21 and older who will be watching the big game said that where Mondays are concerned, a majority of them prefer other days of the week in general. But 55% want the day after the big game to be a holiday. Hey, here's a thought. You heard it here first. Here's a thought. Take the day off. Take the day off. Huh? Oh, but I can't afford it. I got to work. I don't have vacation. Your problem. Sorry. Don't mean to see unsympathetic because if you want to take the day after the Super Bowl off, good for you. Take whatever days you would like to take off. Absolutely. A national holiday. That's just stupid. Am I wrong about that? I mean, I would appreciate your point of view on that, because that just, to me, just seriously, yeah, we got to make it a national holiday. Now, Kathy's asking a great question here. Why not play it on Saturday instead? 99% of those people aren't getting up for church on Sunday anyway. That's kind of excuse me. That's a great point, Kathy. So, my friends, we're going to leave it there for today. I'm going to ask you to hit the like button before you go. And it's I got to work on something pithy to kind of say here at the end of the fourth hour. So I haven't gotten there yet, but I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Hey, you take care and have a great day. Hope to see you again tomorrow. So long until then.